Open Studios Joburg is a unique exhibition that took place in 2022 and allowed over 100 working artists to be seen in their natural environment, the studio. Well, the show is back this year with more artists and spaces that will allow art lovers a chance to draw in with a creative and the imaginative behind the art pieces. This year, the show will highlight even more art projects, spaces and buildings throughout the historic Joburg CBD. Well, founder of Open Studios Joburg and director of Meta Foundation, Sara Hallatt, joins us in studio to tell us more about this kind of exhibition. She's brought along with her Woman to Watch award winner and artist Lebo Thoka. Ladies, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live. I mean, Sara, let's start with you about the origins of the exhibition and the inspiration behind it.
Sure. So I guess 2020 and lockdown, things were very hard for artists and for organizations. Very isolated, very feeling kind of a little bit abandoned by the world. So what we decided to do was get together all the spaces we could find in the CBD that work in similar kinds of ways and bring them together in an attempt to make it really easy for audiences to access everything that exists in the CBD through one event.
Yeah. And tell us about the artists that were selected to be part of the Open Studios.
So what we do is we actually work with specific institutions. So for example, the Bag Factory is one of them, and then all the artists inside of that space.
Yeah.
So this year we've got 11 spaces and over 160 artists across the CBD that are participating. And then in addition to that, they're kind of special projects, for example, the Woman to Watch Award, or specific exhibitions that people will put on in their own individual spaces.
Yeah. Let's bring you into this conversation. Tell us a little bit about Woman to Watch and what is the inspiration behind it.
So when I entered the Woman to Watch Award in 2022, I was lucky enough to be selected by the Meta Foundation and Sara and the rest of her team. And so it's a 3-month residency based in Johannesburg. And basically during the residency last year, it allowed me to explore a new medium because I'm a Johannesburg-based photographic artist mainly. That's the main medium that I create my visual work. So this residency allowed me to explore a new medium, which is wool and Hessian. So a very tactile textile work, which I've never done before. So I'm really grateful to the Meta Foundation and Sara for actually selecting me to allow me to explore a new medium and to create a whole body of work.
Yeah. Talk to us about, we were looking at it a bit earlier, the pictures actually, those are behind you, and that body of work and what is the inspiration behind it and moving into this new space that you've never explored before.
So the work is titled Rape, which means again in my home language of Speedy. And it's basically about my curiosity and fascination with repetition and the nature of repetition. Literally one day I was just sitting and observing my own fingerprints. And I found it weird that human beings were just born with these repetitive patterns on our hands. And we've only found one purpose for them, which is just to open our phones, to have an ID number, and that's it. And so I figured that, is that the only purpose for them? I think that they're quite interesting in how we're just all born with them and we just live the rest of our lives and we die with them and we all have to have one. And I find that quite interesting. And so I started to notice repetitions in other things in nature. For example, when you get a flower, you pick a flower from a field, it has multiple petals. A bird has to have thousands of feathers in order to fly. So this constant repetition that I found everywhere in nature, in organic things. So basically this body of work is just my exploration with the nature repetition and what it can teach us about being human beings.
Sara, speak to us about the nature of the artists that were part of this, that are part of this exhibition, and what are some of the themes that they explore? Oh,
so incredibly varied. So, I mean, every artist has their own sort of obsession, and that obsession may change over time. I think, in Lebo's case, she was very interested in identity in a different kind of a way, and now it's come down to identity, literally. But we've got artists who deal with, issues around women and children. We've got artists who deal with political issues. There are artists who deal with climate change concerns. There are artists who are very abstract and are really just thinking about creating incredible moments of abstraction. There are artists who do public work, and there are artists who do performance work, which is a kind of lesser known body of work in South Africa, at least. So really a huge variety, and also a huge variety in age and where they are in their careers. So anything from people who are really just starting out all the way up to well-known names in the industry.
And how far has performance art moved and evolved in South Africa? Because I think I remember a couple of years ago, if there's a Mohau, there's also Diane as well, who was at National Arts Festival a couple of years ago. And how far have we moved, particularly in Joburg, because it seems Cape Town embraces it, but Joburg somehow was still a bit slow to move towards performance art.
It's a very tricky thing, and I guess it's not just in this country, but performance arts is very hard to monetize, right? So for a lot of artists, they might do it in addition to doing something else in order to survive, right, and pay the bills. So famously, people like Maria Abramovich, who's, you know, very internationally well known, she started photographing her performances in order to be able to sell that. So I would say because of the kind of economic imperative, it hasn't been as adopted as readily, perhaps, as possible. And also there's this complication about paying for something that exists for a moment and not again. So I think there's always that kind of challenge, and how collectors deal with that. Our collector base in South Africa is very exciting, very new kind of collectors are coming up. And I think it may take them a little bit longer to kind of really grapple with what to do with this form of art.
Lebo, let's touch on what lessons came with working on this particular project outside of your comfort zone. Wool, you're exploring wool and this different textile, but what did it teach you about yourself, and is it something that you're going to explore going forward again, to say, I can try this again, as you said, repetition?
So it's definitely, I would say it's definitely helped me grow a lot.
Right.
Yeah. In terms of patience, because the actual material itself requires you to sit for 10, 20 hours doing the same thing repetitively. So it's taught me patience. It's taught me to question the things that I understood about art. What is good art? What makes a good artist? Who defines that? All these sort of fundamental questions that I thought I had the answers to, but I really didn't. And then I realized that now it's actually a journey to figure that out for yourself, for each individual artist. And I would definitely love to continue with this medium, because it's definitely given me an ability to create and play in a way that 2D photographic prints has sort of, I've done that, you know, for a few years. So I want to just try a new medium, try a new textile. Physical, tactile work. All
right, give us details, Sara, of Open Studios. Where to from here? How long are you running for?
Awesome. So the event takes place on the 27th and 28th of May. That's next weekend from 10:30 to 4 o'clock. There are different spaces open on different days. So please go and check our website, www.openstudios.joburg. The event is ticketed, so please get your tickets before the event. And there is a shuttle service that connects all the spaces together. So you just need to get to one space, hop on the shuttle, and you can view art, drink wine, have a lovely day, and Uber home safely at the end of it all.
It sounds like a lot of fun. All right, so it's openstudios.joburg.
Yes, openstudios.joburg, and we're hoping that all of Joburg comes.
Perfect. The weather must play along as well. Ladies, thank you so much for talking to us. Speaking to us about Open Studios exhibition. Well, that was founder of Open Studios Joburg and director of Meta Foundation, Sara Hallatt, speaking to us about Open Studios exhibition happening next weekend, as well as at Lebo. She's one of the exhibiting artists there.